Today's short video is going to be about focal lengths. I've long suspected that the focal length of a lens isn't necessarily correct. For example, the 24-70, which I've got mounted on the camera just now, there should then be a seamless gap when I switch that one out and put on the 70-200. However, when that's at 70mm and then the 70-200 is at 70mm, I've got a feeling that the 70-200 is actually slightly tighter than this one, which would lead me to believe either the 24-70 isn't a proper 70mm or the 70-200 isn't a proper 70mm. Conversely, at the wide end, at the narrow end at 200mm, is that the same as 200mm on my 1-400 lens? We'll also be doing another test, the 70-200 at 100mm. I've got 100 prime, and then we'll take the 100-400, set that at its lowest, 100. In theory, all pictures should be the exact same. Let's see if that works out in practice. Very simple test. As you can see, I've got the camera set up on a tripod. I'm going to be shooting this again. It's the scale model of Gemini 4, the very first spacewalk. Place it at the end of the table. We'll shoot it, and we'll see if everything is as it's supposed to be. Let's go take some shots. Okay, so on the camera just now is the 24-70. We'll start off by taking a 24mm picture, just as a wide reference. Then we'll zoom all the way out to 70mm and take a picture of the Gemini 4 craft. Let's get started. Okay, those two pictures are taken. Right now I'm not too bothered about whether it's correct exposure or not. I'm just interested in the focal lengths. So now that we've got a 70mm example, let's change over to the 70-200 lens and do a few shots with that one. As you can see, we now have the 70-200mm lens on. Going to take 3 shots: 70mm, 100mm and 200mm. The 70mm I'll compare against the 20-40-70. The 200mm shot I'll compare against the 1-400. And the 100mm I'm going to compare against the 100 prime and the 1-400. Let's take a couple of shots on this one. Perfect. Time to change lenses again. So we switched up. We've now got the 1-400 on. Be taking 2 shots with this lens, one at 100mm and one at 200mm. So make sure we're at 100. Then line it up right there, 200. One more lens to try out. I now have a 100mm prime lens on it. That means there is no zoom. It only does one focal length, 100mm. Let's take a shot, then go compare the result. Time to load these into the computer and see what's what. Okay, so here we are in Lightroom. Pictures are loaded up. Let's go take a look and see if the focal lengths really are the same. This first picture was the 24mm wide angle shot. To be honest, I don't even know why I particularly... Oh, I remember why I took this. I was going to test out my 11-24 lens, but didn't. So I was going to see if the 24mm was the same as the 11-24 at 24mm. I didn't do that. So on to the first one. As you can see up here, this is the 24-70 lens at 70mm. And there's our size. Now keep that in mind, because the next shot should be the 70-200 at 70mm. So that should be the exact same. And as you can see, it's not. That is further away than that. You can check by the camera on the side. You can see the lens here, don't see it here. So at 70mm, the 24-70 is not the same as the 70mm on the 70-200. Let's try the next one. The next one's 100mm on the 70-200. Well, we'll do that one last. Let's try the 200mm. So there we are at 200. As you can see, we're still using the 70-200 lens. This is 200mm. Keep that in mind. Here's 200mm on the 100-400. $200mm. Oops. 200mm on that one. 200mm on that one. So the 70-200 at 200 is further than, or you get a closer picture, as you can see here, it's exactly 200 than the 200 of the 100-400. So the final test we done was at 100mm. So here's 100 on the 70-200 lens. As you can see, we're exactly at 100mm. 100mm, as you can see, exactly 100 on the 100-400 lens. The 70-200 is slightly closer than the 1-400. But how does it do against a prime? Remember, the prime is a 100 only, it's not a zoom. There's the prime. EF 100mm macro lens at 100mm, it's all it can do. That is much closer to the 1-400 lens than it is the 70-200 lens. So what did we learn from that? Well, we learned that the focal lengths printed on lenses and what you actually buy may not be exactly what you get. Now, strictly speaking, this wasn't a pure scientific test. There's machines that actually do that kind of thing. But this is close enough to give you an idea. Really what we learn, if we take the 100-400 as being accurate, The 70 to 200 is more like an 80 to around about 215 lens. It's not strictly speaking a 70 to 200. Now why did I say with the 1 to 400? Because the shots from the 24 to 70 and the 1 to 400 relatively were closer together than the 70 to 200, especially when we tested out the 100 prime lens. The 100 prime was almost the exact same as the 100 to 400 at 100mm. So the lens that was kind of off was the 70 to 200. Now funnily enough, the 70 to 200 is actually considered to be one of Canon's best lenses. Just remember, what you see on the lens for the focal length may not be exactly what you get.